Hey, upper siders, it's me, Gossip Girl. Gente, se você é fã de Gossip Girl como eu, deve ter ficado louco pra saber o que está por vir para Julien, Zoya e sua turma depois de tantos cliffhangers nos últimos episódios da nova geração. Pra matar a curiosidade, a equipe do Hugo Gloss bateu um papo super especial com Zión Moreno, que interpreta a Luna lá no seriado. Ela nos contou tudo sobre os bastidores da série, quais os personagens originais ela gostaria que retornassem à trama e ainda o futuro surpreendente reservado para eles. Ai, meu Deus. Dá só uma olhada em como é que foi nossa conversa com a Zión Moreno. Moreno, ai Moreno.
Trigger warning, followers. I promise this post will not be pretty. Thanks for your secrets, your lies, and all the tips you've given me. This story is anything but over.
Hi, Zion. How are you?
Hi, Savannah.
Lovely to meet you.
Very well. Lovely to meet you as well.
So, the original Gossip Girl marked a generation, and most of its characters still live in the psyche of, our generation. So,
Yeah.
what was your relationship with the original show prior to being cast?
Well, I mean, I'm gonna show my age here. I'm 21. What are you talking about? No, but when I was growing up, I watched Gossip Girl really religiously. So
Yeah.
I had a very, very close relationship with the show. So much so that like I'd go to school and people would be like, "Did you watch the new Gossip Girl last night?" I'd be like, "How could I miss it?" So I was very, very into it. Mostly because I was just obsessed with shows that took place in New York City, because New York
Yeah.
City to me growing up was like, the epitome of living your life. Like it was just the epicenter of art and culture. I don't think that now, because there's a lot of places in the world that are amazing, but that's what I thought. So yeah, I was very closely involved with the show. And then I grew up into an adult, and I stopped, loving it as much as I did. I mean, it still has a very special place in my heart. But when I was casted in this, I just felt like I had to give it a shot. When I got the audition, I had to give it a shot because it was something that was so dear to me. So yeah, I've always loved the show.
What was your favorite character back then?
My
Would you
favorite-
have played if you could choose one?
Would I have played? Well, back then, me and my best friend, I was the Serena and she was the Blair.
Oh, yes.
So I felt like I loved Serena so much. I felt like she was so flirtatious and cute and pretty, and I'm like, just wanted to be here. But now that I'm older, I feel like I appreciate Blair a lot more.
Yeah.
Because like Serena just kind of got everything she wanted just because she was pretty and rich, whereas Blair kind of had to work on it. She
Yeah, I get that.
used her brains.
Yes,
Every
that's.
kid.
I
Yeah.
think that's the best advice we can
Yeah,
give anyone.
Yeah.
So, what was your reaction to finding out who the original Gossip Girl was? I think everyone was shocked whenever that happened. And how surprised were you when you got the script for the new show and saw how different that dynamic is this time around?
Yeah. Well, I think very much like everyone else, I was like, what the hell is this? When I first found out who the original Gossip Girl was, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, why would it be him?
I know.
I was like, what? This makes no sense. I feel like,
I couldn't believe it either.
yeah, no. Because he tormented himself too, and then like he would be alone in his room reacting to Gossip Girl posts when he was alone.
Yeah.
So that made no sense. But you know what? Like I appreciate the creative integrity, their pursuits. But yeah, like when I read the new script, I thought it was a really cool take on it. Like I think that it was really necessary to let the audience know who Gossip Girl was right away.
Yeah.
I think the teachers are crazy, but I think it lends itself to, everyone being Gossip Girl nowadays, because it could fall in the hands of anybody. So anybody could be Gossip Girl.
True. That's very true. How was the audition process? How did you find out you had the role, and what did you do to prepare for it?
Well, I was actually shooting a show in New Orleans when I found out that my agent sent me the audition for Gossip Girl. So I did a self-tape, a self-tape right before I went on set. And that was like the longest day ever. It was like a 12-hour day. But then the next day I flew back to LA, and my manager said that they wanted me for the callback in person the next day.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a very quick process for me. And then the next day I had the callback here in LA. I'm in LA currently. And I just remember being so nervous. Like, I'd never done something so big. So I was just really, really nervous, but I did the audition. I kind of blacked out. I don't really remember it because I was so nervous. And then it was like a month until they told me I got it. So I thought I didn't get it. I remember calling my mom and was like, I didn't get it. And then the next day, my agent called me and told me that I was moving to New York because I got it. So it was.
That must have meant a lot to you.
Yeah, it really did. It really did. It felt like full circle, So I remember I couldn't stop jumping around and screaming. So.
I mean, with a news like that,
that's
the only reaction you can get, right? So we can see a lot of Julien's success comes from Luna's and Monet's abilities to like work with the fashion and the social media aspect of it all. And then Monet decides to go in a different direction because she wants her own place in the sun. So I was wondering, how do you see Luna's relationship with both of them? And do you think she'll eventually branch out and become a big influencer like Julien?
Well, I think that these are all questions for Josh Safran, our showrunner, because he writes everything. So I'm kind of, in the dark like you. But I think that for Luna, Luna and Monet are like very good business partners. I think that they're more so business partners than they are friends, unfortunately, because I know that Twitter is always like, oh, let them be together and they're best friends and they would be great girlfriends. But I don't think that Luna and Monet necessarily like each other very much. They're just there to, further their career.
Yes.
If anything, I feel like Luna cares more about Julien than she does about Monet, because and about the friend group in general. Because Luna can be, heartless at times, but, she also knows these people very intimately. So she also cares about them, where I feel like Monet is just like ice cold. She's like, just does things for herself, does not think about anybody else.
Yes, I do see that.
Yeah, but I think that in that way, I think Luna, she already has an agent. So I think Luna already knows what she wants. And I hopefully see her, owning and creating her own line and showing in New York Fashion Week and in Paris and Milan. So
that would be amazing.
I feel like that'd be really cool, So
yes, I would love that. My dad was a stylist. He was a designer. So I relate a lot to Luna and her world and everything.
Oh,
so
no way. Cool.
I was so happy to talk to you.
Oh, no way. I'm so happy to talk to you too. My mom wanted to be a fashion designer, and she grew up sewing all of my clothes. So I feel very close.
I can relate to that.
Yeah.
I can relate to that. So that leads me to my next question, actually. So we've seen Luna more behind the scenes in a little more of a secondary plot, just helping the story move along, which I think is amazing because it's very hard to actually have all of the characters influence the plot of a show. And I think I wanted to know all of the characters they have, but most of them have a lot of family drama, a lot of relationship drama. And I was hoping you could give us a little hint towards what's coming for Luna in that aspect? Do you think we're gonna get to see her family dynamics? Do you think we're gonna get to see her dealing with a lot of that relationship drama when it comes to the next episode?
Yeah, I think, well, I can't say too much, unfortunately. I've said this before. I wish we could just like sit down and talk like girlfriends and I could like just tell you everything, but I can't. So, but what I can tell you is that Josh has said this in the past, that Luna and Monet's storylines are developed more so in the later half of the first season and in the second season. So I think you'll see more family stuff for Luna in the second season. And I think that, and you definitely will see her trying to navigate love at the end of season 1. So I think
I'm very excited for that.
Yeah.
Very excited for that. So speaking of her future, do you think she could eventually become Gossip Girl herself?
I don't know. I feel like everyone could be Gossip Girl. I feel like that's the point of the show, is that everybody could be, but maybe, who knows?
Yeah, I'm very excited to find out. What was your favorite scene to shoot so far?
Well, I can't talk about the latter 6 episodes. Those are really fun, but I can't really talk about them. I think that the Halloween episode was really fun. The first episode was really fun because it kind of established everything, and it was the first time where I was like, wow, I'm in Gossip Girl. So I think the first episode will always hold a very special place in my heart. But they've all been really fun, but the Halloween episode was really fun and the first episode was really fun too.
Is there a memory from one of those that stands out to you from set?
I remember that we had to do reshoots for Halloween episode because we'd shot the entire episode and then we'd had to reshoot it for some scenes. So we had to go back to the Plaza Hotel. And when we originally shot the Halloween episode, we had like these beautiful holding rooms. They were like these gorgeous suites. And it was just so luxurious and, very Gossip Girl. But then when we did the reshoots, they couldn't, all the rooms were taken, or they couldn't give us the rooms. So we had like this like super like sad looking green room, which it wasn't bad, but I think that we were all just used to the room, so we were all like we were all put together in this green room, and we were just like laughing and how like crazy it was, but it was still really, really fun. And it's the job. You can't.
It is.
We can't be.
You never know what you're getting.
Yeah, exactly. Where we're.
And I feel like that also shows like the 2 spectrums of New York. You get both sides of it.
Exactly. We experience both sides. So that
exactly.
Yeah.
So the show got a lot of attention very quickly and divided a lot of opinions. Some people loved that they were going back to the Gossip Girl world, and some people always prefer the OG version of a show. What was the public's reaction something you were anxious about? How did you deal with the critics?
Yeah, I was definitely incredibly anxious about the audience's reaction, because it's the OG. Gigi was such a, relic in American culture, at least like the early 2000s culture.
Oh yeah.
So I was very, very nervous, but very pleasantly surprised at how people have reacted to it. And people have shown us nothing but love. And, they know that they also know how to separate Luna from me, the person. So they don't really show any hate. I receive nothing but support. So it's been a really lovely experience. And I can't wait for you all to see the other 6 episodes that are left. So
I'm very excited for that. Speaking of criticism, bullying, and how far social media takes people, towards a not so great mindset is always a constant theme in not only the old Gossip Girl, but especially in this one now with Instagram and everything. And in your career, you have touched on that with your role as Isabella in Control Z, which I think is amazing. So I was wondering, what is your relationship with social media and how important it is for you to shine a light on this matter that affects so many young people, but especially the LGBTQ community?
Yeah. Well, my relationship with social media is a very complicated one. I think that we can all relate to that. Social media is kind of like this like evil thing that we all hate using, but we use anyways because it can create bonds that otherwise wouldn't be had. Because it also does, a lot of good. It connects people that otherwise couldn't meet. But I try to just like keep my social media lighthearted. Like with my Twitter, I like posting about bugs, and like talking about philosophy, just to just keep it light. And then on my Instagram, I'm, very comfortable with being silly and, just trying to make people understand that they're not alone when they feel lonely, when they feel, disillusioned. Because, just because we're in the public eye doesn't mean that we don't feel those things either. And we don't understand those things. So, yeah, I just try to keep it light and try to connect with the people that enjoy my art in a way that is playful and sweet. So, yeah.
And your Instagram, might I say, is the aesthetic is chef's kiss. I love it.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you.
I love it. So, speaking of the LGBTQ community, you're a trans woman, and I feel like it wouldn't be right of me to not touch on that subject. And I think it's like you said, people need some representation and need a way to connect with the people they watch on TV or listen to their music. And I was wondering, how do you hope your work impacts the community that you're part of?
I hope that that through my work and through my visibility, I create an impact where people that come after me don't have to label themselves as anything other than, what they feel like labeling themselves as. Because unfortunately, as queer people, the media loves to tokenize us and to sensationalize us. So I think that through my visibility now, hopefully in the future, that won't happen to queer kids anymore, and they can just tell stories without having to wear their queerness on their forehead.
Yes,
so that's absolutely what I hope for. Yeah.
And I think you're doing a great job at it.
Oh, thank you.
So you guys have finished shooting season 1, but the next episodes aren't coming out until November. And we've had so far a few cameos from Nelly Yuki and Georgina Sparks' son. And I was wondering if you could choose someone from the old Gigi, who would you choose to be on the new episodes or the next season? And also, if you can give us a little hint for what we can expect from the new episodes.
I would have the whole cast be in the show,
That'd be wonderful.
Yeah, right. Like, why pick just one? I'd love to have Chuck.
Oh yeah.
I know. I'd love to have Blair, obviously. I'd love to have Dorota. I'd love to have Rufus. Maybe Rufus and Luna could have like a romantic thing, even though it's completely illegal.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. Even though it's completely illegal, who cares? It's Gossip Girl. So and what was the second part of your question? Oh, a hint.
If you can give us a little hint of what's to come.
Well, I think that the second half of the season is gonna show a lot more drama. I think that the first half of the season was setting up everything And the second half of this is where it all kind of explodes. And I think it's a lot more exciting, and you definitely see a different side to Luna, definitely see a different side to every character. So I think I can't wait till you guys see it.
Gente, que fofa que é a Zión! Ai, meu Deus, eu tô muito ansioso, gente, pra volta de Gossip Girl. Os episódios voltam agora em novembro, então assim, ó, emoções estão por vir. E a segunda temporada é super garantida, né? A gente gosta sim. You know you love me, XOXO, Gossip Girl. Tchau! Depois vocês me contam o que acharam, hein? Não esquece de comentar, ativar o sininho. Manda pra Gossip Girl, entendeu? Manda pra Gossip do dia, Gossip no Insta, Gossip não sei o quê, porque agora tudo é Gossip. Vamos lá, fazer esse negócio aqui render, imagina.
You guys deserve whatever you've got coming.
Sooner or later, we all go to war.
What's going on? You're being canceled.
And what can you do when the enemy has you backed into a corner?
One lesson from the top, never surrender.
We're ready to take back what's rightfully yours, ending her once and for all.
You'll be happy I didn't stay away for long.